I think we should get started now. So, good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for the Customer Experience Revolution. I'm Pete Jory, Managing Director, Elite Group, and I'm thrilled to be joined by Rob Wiles, the Zoom Customer Experience Manager, and Gavin Crew, Account Director, Elite Group. Before we dive in, I want to acknowledge the busy schedules you all have. So, firstly, thank you for making the time to focus on something that can truly transform your business. Today, we'll show you how elevating your customer experience isn't just a nice to have, it really is the secret weapon for outperforming your competitors, delighting your customers, and boosting your bottom line. We'll keep this as interactive as possible with a few quick polls. And please don't forget, if you'd like to ask any questions during the webinar, please put them in the Q&A section at the bottom of the screen, and we'll try to answer them at the end. But let's jump straight in. So let's start with expectations. Customers today are not just comparing you to your direct competitors, they're comparing you to the best experience they've had anywhere. 80% of customers say a positive experience makes them more likely to buy again. Imagine that 8 out of every 10 customers came back to your business to interact and purchase your services. What would that do for your business today? At the same time, customers increasingly want shorter wait times and faster, simpler resolutions. The benchmark for good has moved. Speed, ease, and consistency are now basic requirements. So ask yourself, are you intentionally designing your customer experience or just hoping for the best? Because when you get it right, when we get it right, 90% of customers will return and 85% of them will become your biggest advocates. Last year, the UK Customer Satisfaction Index shows CX levels have hit a 14-year low. That doesn't mean customers suddenly don't care. Quite the opposite. It means businesses are struggling to keep pace with the rising expectations, cost pressures, and complexity. Businesses that act now will be the ones customers remember and competitors envy. CX is a competitive battleground in the UK right now, and the winners are the ones who treat experience as a performance lever, not just simply a nice to have. So let's start with a quick poll before we go any further. On your screen, you'll see the question, where are you on the customer experience and employee experience transformation journey? Have a quick look at the answers, and please don't, there's no right or wrong answers here. We'd just like to get your view so we can tailor the rest of the webinar a bit more specific to the responses. Okay, so looking at the responses from everyone, the main one is laying foundations, exploring new services, cloud, omnichannel, agent support. And to be fair, this is how most businesses respond. And I'm confident that during the webinar, we can give you some real food for thought about taking it to your next level. So let's continue. Three out of 4 businesses are struggling to keep up with rising customer expectations. Low morale, high turnover, and the pressure to deliver more with less. It's a really tough environment out there. This is exactly why CX improvement matters commercially. It's not about adding work. It's about removing the waste, reducing the repeat contact, and enabling staff to deliver better results with less effort. That's how CX translates into a real true ROI. Many businesses apply short-term fixes, quick tech bolt-ons, point solutions, or extra scripts to try and patch the gaps. But those fixes don't resolve root causes. They often create more complexity in system handoffs, more inconsistency across the business. So the cracks widen over time. Customers feel it as friction and delay. Employees feel it as frustration. And the business feels it in cost to serve, churn risk, and slower growth. If you want better CX and better performance, you need to do a step change, not just another patch. Before we go further, I'd like to take a little step back and a brief trip through time. Wave 1, a lot of us will remember on this call, call centers focused on voice, limited by the technology available. Wave 2, the cloud arrives, and suddenly we're integrating chat, email, and social media. And a lot of people on this call are kind of in that phase today. But what happened is customer expectations significantly rose, and therefore the complexity grew. Wave 3 is the latest. And we're starting to see the industrial use of AI. But here's the twist. The strongest CX transformations don't remove the human element, they amplify it. They use technology to handle the repeatable, high volume work and then free people to focus on judgment, empathy, and complex value add conversations. It's about empowering your teams with AI so they can deliver faster, smarter, and more human experiences. And for businesses, the payoff is twofold. Customers get faster, more consistent outcomes. The teams get a better day at work, less admin, and more impact. And that combination is what really improves CX scores and business results. The future belongs to those who blend technology with the irreplaceable power of people. So AI is transforming businesses in 2025, and it's shaping up to be the year of recovery, and AI is the catalyst. We're already seeing customer satisfaction scores start to climb in sectors that embrace AI-driven solutions. But it is really important, and to be clear, AI isn't the strategy by itself, it's an enabler. It accelerates improvement when it's applied to the right customer journeys, with the right data, and with people at the center. So the message here is optimism with discipline. This is the moment to redesign experience intelligently. Use AI to drive measurable outcomes, lower cost to serve, and higher satisfaction, and essentially stronger ROI. My final slide before I hand over to the team shows the real world journey many customers still go through. They start unhappy, they face no context or repetition, and they bounce across inconsistent handovers. You can add AI on top of that, but if the underlying journey is broken, AI alone won't solve CX. It may even scale the problem faster. So what does the winning formula look like? And this is the key question that we at Elite and working with Zoom really ask ourselves. And the win for me comes from pairing AI with journey design and operational alignment. And when it's done right, it is transformative. Customers don't repeat themselves. Handoffs feel seamless, and resolution is quick and confident. AI alone won't solve CX, but AI combined with empowered employees and intentional design will absolutely transform it. So now I'm going to hand over to Rob, who will walk us through a short demo. As you watch, keep an eye on some of the key things that I found, how context is carried through the journey, how resolution becomes faster and smoother, and how it supports the team rather than replacing them. Rob, over to you, mate.
Seeing is always believing. So what I'm going to take you through now is going to cover two things. One is the Zoom Virtual Agent application, which is empowering your customers, your consumers, to self-service 24/7 where it makes sense for your business, while retaining that all-important ability to escalate to a live human being within the contact center. The second part will show a consumer agent supervisor engagement, where we'll look at some AI outcomes that can help our agent service the customer better, service the customer quicker, and create an overall better customer service. So I'm just going to start by sharing my screen, and we'll get straight into the demonstration. So demonstration one is that virtual agent application that I talked about. I'm going to demonstrate this from the Zoom administration portal, which is a really nice way to test out these applications. But we've created a frontline agent called Alice, and Alice works for a heating supply company. And Alice's job is to assist callers into the business with, answering general questions, repetitive questions, frequently asked questions, but also Alice has the capability to book appointments with the water design team without anybody else in the contact center being involved. So hopefully as we go through the demonstration, you'll see the capability of this application. So we'll start our test.
Hi, you've reached First Trace, and this is Alice speaking. How can I help you?
Hi Alice, can you help me with your office address, please?
Absolutely. Our office address is 123 Main Street, Anytown, United States of America. Would you like directions or anything else with that?
No, but could you tell me your office opening hours, please?
Of course. Our office is open Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Is there anything else I can help you with today?
Yeah, can you actually tell me which products you sell?
Let me get you a quick list of the products we sell. We sell self-regulating and constant wattage heating cables, series resistance cables, thermostats, controllers, junction boxes, pipe insulation, snow melting systems, roof and gutter heating, and floor heating solutions. Want details on any specific product?
No, but if I wanted to contact sales, what would their email address be?
Our sales team can be reached at sales@firsttrace.com. Would you like me to connect you to someone in sales right now?
No, that's okay. But what I've heard is I can book an appointment with the water team to get a design done. Can you book that appointment for me?
Absolutely, I can help with that. May I have your full name? Great. Please tell me your full name so I can book your appointment.
Rob Wiles.
Thanks, Rob Wiles. Could you please provide your email address so I can send you the appointment confirmation?
rob.wiles@zoom.com.
Thank you, Rob. I'll check available times for your appointment with the water team. Rob, here are the available times for your water team appointment. Thursday, November the 27th at 11 a.m, 11:30 a.m, or 2 p.m, all in Europe London time. Which one works best for you, or would you like different dates?
2 p.m.'s fine.
Perfect. Before I book, let me confirm your details. Your first name is Rob, spelled R-O-B. Your last name is Wiles, spelled W-I-L-E-S. Your email is rob.wiles@z-o-om.com. Is all that correct?
That's correct. So what the agent's doing now is they're going into the booking
I
system.
just have one quick question before I can finish booking your appointment. Ready for the first question?
I'm ready.
Please share anything that will help prepare for your meeting. You can give as much or as little detail as you like, or just say, skip if you want to move on.
I want some help in designing an underfloor heating system, 10 meters squared for a kitchen.
Thank you. Would you like to add any more details, or is that everything you want the team to know?
That's everything.
Your appointment is all set. You'll get a confirmation email soon, and you can reschedule or cancel from there if needed. Is there anything else I can help you with today, Rob?
Yeah, actually, can you transfer me through to technical support, please?
Sure thing. Is your technical support request about an underfloor product, or is it something else?
It's an underfloor product.
Thanks for letting me know. I'll transfer you to technical support for underfloor products now. Please hold on.
So what Alice showed there is she's got the capability to answer those frequently asked questions, address details, contact details, office opening hours, but is also able to carry out a full workflow, which was booking that appointment, gathering the details of the person that wants to book that appointment, and adding details into that appointment around exactly what the appointment's about, which was the design requirement. And then at the end of the call, we showed that escalation into the human agents within the contact center. So there are plenty of use cases for this application, and can actually be a really good starting point of introducing AI into your customer journey, especially if you have high volumes of those repetitive type questions that we can take away from your human agents, and give them time to do more important things. Okay, let's go into the second part of the demonstration. And we're going to show a live customer journey. So we're going to show this journey starting on a web page from Zoomly Financial Services, that well-known global bank. And we're going to start our journey on a web chat. So I'm going to click the web chat bubble. I'm sure everybody that's watching this is well used to using web chat services. It is a nice common entry point into the customer journey. So we're going to start here. I'll give myself a nickname. I'll put in some basic information. This could be a full identity and verification gateway. So this service could sit behind that full login process if you wanted to. And I'm going to hit submit. Now, first thing we're going to ask the consumer is what language would you like to communicate in? So we support 17 languages on the Zoom platform, and we can do full language translation between the agent's native language and the consumer's native language, providing it's one of those 17 languages. So I'm going to hit English for the purposes of the demo. A little bit of personalization in this journey. So first name and last name. Anything we're capturing here will be shared with our live agent when it reaches that stage of the journey. And then basically, this is IVR for web chat. So I'm just going to select personal banking because I'm certainly not rich enough for prestige. And I have a general banking inquiry. Okay, so I'm going to hit general banking. And this is where the business logic says, transfer this engagement to my live agent within the contact center. So I'm going to change personas to the agent. So this is the agent application. It sits in the same environment as all the other Zoom applications. It's just when you have a contact center license, the contact center tab appears. I'm going to make our agent ready. And you're going to see that first outcome of an AI tool at an agent level. So even before the agent has answered the engagement, we're getting that conversation summary of what's happened before it's reached me as the human being. Okay. So I'm going to accept that engagement. Once we're live with the consumer, we can see all of the context that's happened before. So all of that transcript. And on the right-hand side, anything we've captured in the customer journey is presented in this tab here. Okay. We've actually automatically raised a ticket against this engagement as well. And typically this window you see here is where our customers bring in their own CRM. And you can do that three ways. You can bring your CRM or ticketing platform into the Zoom application. You can put the Zoom application into the CRM or the ticketing window, or you can just have the application sat side by side on the agent's desktop, communicating with each other, passing data between the two environments. So we want to start communicating with our consumer. We can use canned responses to speed up that engagement. And I'm just going to go back to our consumer. And I'm going to type in, I am unhappy, because sometimes our customers are unhappy. And this is then going to display the second outcome for AI at an agent level. So I'm going to go back to our agent application. And what we're displaying at the top of the tree here is negative sentiment. Okay, so we've picked up from whatever the consumer has said or the consumer has typed in this scenario that they're unhappy. So we're coaching the agent. This is a negative sentiment engagement. Okay. Now, in reality, if an agent doesn't realize a consumer's unhappy when they literally type, I am unhappy, we've probably got a bigger problem. Okay. But the power of sentiment is really at that supervisor and team leader level. So I'm just going to change personas again to a supervisor. And I'm going to do this from the admin window. I'm going to log into the web version of Zoom as a supervisor. So I'm going to click on the contact center tab, and the same view that you see at an agent level is going to appear, but a supervisor gets a couple of extra things. So the first thing they get is they get to see their team. They can see who in their team is ready, who's on an engagement, who's not logged in or anything like that. But on the all engagements tab, I can go to open and I can see all of my live engagements. So at the bottom here, you can see the live engagements. And as a supervisor, I can decide what I see here. So I'm going to select sentiment. I'm going to drag that right to the top and I'm going to hit confirm. So now I can see a live engagement and I can see the sentiment on it here. So I can see immediately it's negative. But I've also decided that when a engagement is in negative sentiment, I want that escalating to my supervisor, my team leader. So that would then appear in this escalated engagements window. Now we can have this displayed on wallboards as well. So it's very, very visible to your team leaders and your supervisors. But once a supervisor has seen that negative engagement, they can use their supervisory tools to preview. They can generate a summary of everything that's happened before they joined as a supervisor. So the agent offers help and the customer expresses unhappiness. I think that's a fair summary of what's happened in the engagement so far. And then I can use my supervisory tools to observe that engagement. I can barge into it and join my agent in the engagement, or I can actually take it over from my agent should it be getting really sticky or really difficult. Now, those supervisory tools work on all of our real-time media. So voice, chat, video, social media, absolutely no problem. But for the moment, I'm just going to leave that engagement as a supervisor. I'm going to go back to our agent. Oh, and again, what we're going to do, we're going to use AI here to help our agent deal with this difficult, unhappy customer. So I'm going to click on this blue sparkle here, and I'm going to type, I want to say sorry. And what we're going to do here, we're going to leverage AI to craft a response back to this customer that might be able to turn this situation around. So there's a suggestion there. I can make this longer. I can make it shorter. And I can change the tone to perhaps something more friendly, more professional, more formal, whatever suits the business. Once I'm happy with that as the agent, I can insert that into the conversation and send that back to our consumer. So let's go and see what the consumer sees. Okay, so they've seen that response, and by some miracle, I am now happy. So the response from the agent has made that consumer happy, and that customer sentiment now has immediately changed to positive. The supervisor will see that. They'll be able to step away from that engagement, get on with their day job, and the agent can now move into actually resolving whatever the customer inquiry was. So we're now going to put in a really specific customer intent. So we're going to go back to our consumer. Can I increase my credit limit? Okay. Now, when we come back to the agent, that intent has prompted the Zoom platform to bring up a knowledge base article. And that knowledge base article will guide the agent through the process that the consumer needs to follow to upgrade their credit limit. Now, we could copy and paste this in, no problem, and send that to the consumer. So immediately, we've presented our agent with the right piece of knowledge to help our consumer resolve their inquiry first time. Okay, and that feature is called Expert Assist. Now, Expert Assist has got three functions here. It can do that knowledge-based retrieval. It can also provide what we call next best action. So it might be when this engagement went to negative sentiment, we would prompt a next best action, which is a series of steps the agent can take to make that consumer happy again. We might have identified that this is a complaint call or a vulnerable customer. Once we've identified that, we can present the next best steps in how to deal with that type of engagement. So it's not just about presenting knowledge to the agent, it's about presenting that next best action as well when the time is right to do that. And we can also do generic information retrieval. So I can go to this search bar here, I can type in mortgage, and it will present me with any of our knowledge-based articles around mortgages, if that's what the consumer is interested in. Okay, so if we go back to our consumer, they can see those steps. They can try and follow that within their application on their mobile, and hopefully that resolves their inquiry. However, I am struggling with this. Okay, so we've got a customer that can't actually carry out the steps that they need to increase their credit limit. So now we're going to talk about escalating from web chat to a conversation. So to do that in the world of Zoom, all you do is hit voice call. You select your global code, and you don't have to have all of these appear. This is just because this is a global demonstration platform. Enter the consumer's number, which you can take from CRM, you could take from the consumer giving you that number. Select the caller line ID that you want to present to that consumer, and just hit call. Now notice nothing changes on the agent screen until the customer answers the phone. So I'm doing that on my mobile now for demo purposes. But once we're into that voice engagement, so we move from web chat to voice, a whole load of other outcomes appear. So first and foremost, we're getting live voice transcription. Okay. Now that means your agent doesn't have to be making notes in a notebook, doesn't have to be tippy tapping on a keyboard, because it's all being recorded within the Zoom platform. And that means they can concentrate on the consumer. At the top of the agent screen, they're getting some speech analytics coaching. So green is good, red is cautionary, and we're doing that around talk speed and speech length. And that's going to dynamically change depending on what the agent's saying at any moment in time. Call recording has started because that's a policy we put into the system, but the agent has been given the power to pause and resume that recording should they need to do so. Now, customer sentiment also carries over. So if I just mute the agent for a second and talk as the consumer, hello, I'm still a very happy consumer. In a second, at the top of the agent screen, that customer sentiment will appear up here. There we go, that's positive. So it's carried over from the web chat, that sentiment level, so the agent knows what's going on and a supervisor can still monitor that engagement despite the fact it's moved from web chat to voice. But the consumer's still struggling, okay? So maybe the best way to resolve this inquiry is I now want to upgrade this to video. And video is a really good support channel within the contact center. So we're going to upgrade this engagement to video by sending the consumer an email. So I just hit send and upgrade. I'm going to go to the email application on my phone. And that email just contains a link inviting the consumer to a video call. They don't need to install any software, but what they do need to do is allow microphone and camera access on the device they're using. So I've done that. The consumer then enters their name and they hit join. Now it's only at this point that the agent's screen will change. Up till then, they're still connected on voice. Top of the screen, you'll see the agent's video. And in the middle, you'll see the consumer's video. So now that consumer can share perhaps the problem they're seeing, the journey that's proving difficult, whatever it may be. Now, even though we've moved to a video, I'll just turn the volume down there. Transcription still continues, customer sentiment still continues, speech analytics still continue. All right. But this is essentially a Zoom video call. So as an agent, I can share my screen to perhaps guide them through the customer journey. I can ask remote control of their device. I can still bring in other participants. So all of this stuff is easily available to the agent to try and resolve the inquiry. Okay. But let's say I can't fix it this time, and I need to call the customer back. So I'm going to say, hello, Mr. Wiles, I'm sorry, I can see what the problem is. I'm going to go and speak to the engineering team and I'll phone you back in 10 minutes. I'll speak to you shortly. Once the agent has ended that engagement, there's a couple of other things going to happen. So first and foremost, we're going to summarize that engagement in this window here. Now, these notes can be in whatever format suits your CRM. Okay, but the agent doesn't have to type anything in here. That's going to be automatically done for them. Okay, and also under follow-up tasks, when I hit generate, it's going to pick out the task from the call. The customer will call the agent will call the customer back with an update. The agent will speak to the engineering team to investigate the customer's problem. All of this information can be automatically transferred into CRM or the ticketing system, and reminders can be made within those systems for the agent to call that customer back, or maybe another member of the team. But everything we've showed there is helping our agent and our supervisor to deliver a better service. Okay, so the start of the demonstration, the virtual agent was empowering the consumer. The second part of the demonstration is about empowering your human agent and your team leader supervisor to deliver a better service to your customers.
Thanks for the demo, Rob. Okay, so before we move on, we'd just like to run a quick poll to understand which feature resonated with you most. So you'll see a poll appear on the screen now, and you can give a few seconds to answer. Okay, looking at the results there, knowledge-based surfacing was the winner. Yeah, so knowledge-based surfacing does appear to be top result, and this helps contact centres deliver faster, more accurate responses by giving agents instant access to the right information at the right time. And it's definitely one of the key features that we see when deploying the contact centres. But together, these capabilities do create a more efficient, intelligent, and customer-focused experience, which leads us directly into the outcomes they unlock. So looking at the graph on the left, the top 3 outcomes which customers value most and is growing year on year are first call resolution, knowledgeable advisors, and timely responses. And Zoom's virtual agent can support all 3 of these outcomes by being always on 24/7 to support timely responses and being able to answer the most common queries that don't need an agent's touch. This will reduce the amount of interactions being routed into the queues, which supports reduced wait times and average handling times. If the interaction is routed to an agent, then the Agent Assist feature, which surfaces the data to the agents, will support in answering the query in the most appropriate way, which creates the impression of a more knowledgeable agent, just like we've seen in the demo. And what we have also seen is that if you have new agents starting in the contact center, the Agent Assist feature can help the training journey of the agent by surfacing relevant information to help them answer queries which they may not already know. And this allows for the agents to be available to start working on customer-facing interactions sooner, which can essentially lead to reduced training costs. And finally, the first call resolution is an outcome of the 2, either being resolved first time via the virtual agent or through the agent with Agent Assist. Looking at the stats on the right, these statistics make one message clear, that CX is no longer a nice to have, it's a core business driver. Organisations that invest in both their customers and their employees create a powerful cycle of value. Companies with strong employee experience retain top talent at 5 times the rate of others, ensuring consistent, high quality customer interactions. And when agents feel supported, especially through AI tools that surface knowledge, analyse sentiment, and automate admin tasks like we've seen in the demo, they resolve issues more accurately and efficiently, and this leads directly to a better customer experience. On the customer side, the expectations are equally as clear. Most organisations are willing to adopt virtual agents if it means quicker resolutions, and customers reward companies that deliver seamless service. A positive experience doesn't just create satisfaction, it creates advocates and repeat buyers, with 79% of happy customers willing to recommend a company and 87% of those more likely to buy again. CX becomes a direct engine for growth and new revenue streams. So in short, investing in CX means investing in efficiency, loyalty, reputation, and long-term business success. Companies that prioritise it will win and keep both their customers and best people. So moving on to how we can help on your journey. At Elite, we don't start with the technology. We start with understanding your challenges and from this, your desired outcomes. So after our initial call with ourselves, we begin with a discovery session where myself or another account manager, along with our pre-sales team, will attend site to complete a session. And this allows us to gain a deeper understanding of your business operations and how your current solution performs against your desired outcomes. So during this session, one of the key steps is mapping your customer personas, their journey, and the outcomes you want to achieve. So what we mean by this is we put ourselves in your customer's position to understand the journey from point of contact into your business through to resolution. And understanding the journey allows us to identify the stages where AI can really benefit and support your outcomes, whether that be self-service to reduce calls into your teams or collecting the required information from the caller before transferring the call to an agent. From there, we'll move on to solution design. So building on what we uncovered in the discovery sessions, we'll design a solution that directly supports your desired outcomes. And we do this by enhancing what already works. So we preserve this and strengthen the parts of your current setup that already deliver value today. But then we look at fixing what doesn't work or is a current challenge by addressing the inefficiencies, gaps, and pain points that limit performance or create friction, which are identified as part of this journey mapping. Then we ensure we provide the right solutions for the right outcomes by ensuring AI is applied only where it can genuinely drive measurable improvements. And we look to prioritize the high value, low risk cases first. What this does, it will create early wins, build internal confidence, and accelerate adoption of AI. And as an example of this, what we do in most deployments is we will look at the top 5 to 10 most common queries which are coming into the contact center. AI would be utilized to answer these queries only at the start. And once the confidence grows and the AI reports allow us to gain greater understanding of additional queries being asked, we can help you build out your data sets to address wider queries and continuously improve the performance of the solution and overall customer experience. And in addition to this, we draw on our own experience of implementing AI across complex environments, ensuring your organization adopts AI in a way that is safe and high impact. And then finally, we demonstrate measurable ROIs by ensuring that every component must prove its value, whether that's reduced wait times, improved first call resolutions, increased customer satisfaction, or stronger employee retention. So once the solution is delivered, we move on to our after sales approach. Now, this transformation isn't a one-off project, it's more of a journey. And what happens after go live is just as important as the discovery and design itself. So we provide dedicated account management with a clear strategy, so you always know who is guiding your journey and what comes next. We hold regular service reviews focused on the outcomes and not just our SLAs. So we assess performance against your business goals to ensure the solution is driving meaningful value. For continuous improvement, we proactively fix what isn't working and enhance what is. So AI isn't set and forget. We will continuously monitor performance, refine the models, and evolve capabilities as your business needs change. And we hold collaborative roadmap sessions. So working closely with our vendors, we provide clear visibility of where the technology is heading, helping you plan with confidence. And finally, outcome validation to ensure every enhancement must demonstrate real impact, reduce wait times, higher first call resolution, stronger employee retention, or any other improvements that matter to you. So why Elite? At Elite, customer feedback is central to how we operate. We actively listen to our customers and act on their insights in a meaningful way. Using real experiences, continually refine, improve, and enhance our services. This approach ensures our solutions stay aligned to what organizations actually need, not what we assume they need. So we're proud to deliver sector-leading CSAT and NPS scores, along with consistent 5-star customer reviews, which is a reflection of the loyalty and trust our customers place in us. We hold high-level partner statuses and industry accreditations across technology, quality, and security. These aren't just badges, they demonstrate our capability and the confidence major vendors place in us. We have some of the brightest, happiest, most engaged employees in the sector, and we continue to invest heavily in their training and development each year. And finally, our commitment to sustainability. We're investing in long-term ESG strategy that creates genuine positive change. These pillars, our customers and our expertise, allow us to form the foundation of the values we bring. So the next slide is just showing some of our customers. We're fortunate to partner with a diverse range across multiple industries, some of which you can see on the slide, each representing a long-term relationship built on collaboration, service excellence, and shared outcomes. Their success is what drives us, and their feedback continually shapes the future of the solutions we provide. Okay, so have we got any questions, Pete? You're on mute.
Thanks, Rob, and thanks, Gav. Yeah, we've got a few questions come in, which is great news, so we'll try and get through them. The first one we've got is, how do you ensure the bot is answering queries accurately? Gav, probably one for you.
Yeah, okay. So as an admin of the solution, our engineering teams can restrict access to specific data sets only. So this is things like knowledge base articles, SharePoint sites that might hold articles, or a website such as frequently asked questions. We classify this as the guardrails which ensure the virtual agent is using your single points of truth and not searching the entire web to make up his own answers. So the data sets we use are identified as part of the discovery and deployment sessions. So we know that we're pointing the AI to that section of data. It can only answer questions from that subset of data. So once the virtual agent is then live, we can review reports on a regular basis, which will help identify the accuracy of the answers, but also highlight questions that couldn't be answered. And this allows us to continuously improve the virtual agent over time and build on those data sets.
Thanks, Gav. Second one I've got here is language translation available on the voice interactions? Probably Rob, one for you.
Yeah, that's a good question. And so live translation is available right now on the messaging channels and on the video channel from Zoom. So on the messaging channel, it does that live translation, hopefully, that you heard me describing. On video, it does it via captions. So consumer speaks Polish, my captions as the agent come up in English, I speak English, the consumer gets Polish. Later on this year, we're also introducing live audio translation. So over a phone call, consumer speaks Polish, the agent will hear it in English, the agent will reply in English, the consumer will hear it in Polish. That is all on very near roadmap, Pete.
All right, thank you. As we come to the end of the webinar, I think we've got time for one more question. How do you help businesses integrate these AI tools into specifically existing workflows, especially if you're using a legacy system? I guess, Gav, probably one more for you.
Yeah, so as part of our consultative approach and the customer journey mapping that we complete as the discovery sessions, we'll identify all the touch points for the virtual agent to understand the exact requirements and integrations where needed. Zoom, I think last time I checked in, has over 1,000 apps now within the marketplace, but it also has an open API architecture, which will allow for bespoke integrations with additional platforms if required. So if there isn't a pre-built app, we can work with the development teams from Zoom and ourselves in terms to look at any integrations with legacy CRMs, etc., or any bespoke software applications that our customers built themselves.
So thank you everyone who have submitted questions. If we haven't managed to get through them, Gav and the team will be in contact to follow up with the answers. So I guess as we come to an end, I'd like to say a big thank you both to the presenters today, although there have been a few hitches, but that is life, as well as everyone that has managed to join us today. I hope it's given you really some real food for thought and some ideas and even some opportunities for your business. And we're going to share the webinar following this with you so you can review it at your leisure. And as a thank you for giving up your really valuable time, what we're going to do is we'll be drawing a person at random who attended the webinar to win £250 in Amazon vouchers. The marketing team will be in contact with the winner by the end of next week. Lastly, should you want to discuss any further points that have been raised, review the Zoom product in detail, or simply have a chat about the changing technology landscapes, as well as what that means for customer experience, I know Gav and the team will love to be engaged and speak with you. So as we come to the end, here are Gav's details, so please feel free to get in direct contact. And I'd like to thank everyone for attending today, and I hope you have a great afternoon.
Thanks, folks.
Guys, thank you.